Hi everyone, it's Lynn here from Inside Knowledge, and this is the final video in the series on physical well-being, which was inspired by my second course in the Embodied Resilience series. So today I want to talk about hormones. Hormones are covered near the end of our course, and the reason I chose to include a section on hormones is because in modern society, most of us are living with some degree of hormonal imbalance. So that's really important to understand. And also because with hormone imbalance, you can be following all the proper guidelines and not getting the results. And if that is you, if you're eating well and you're exercising as instructed and you're still finding it difficult to lose weight, then it may be that you have a hormonal imbalance. So in the course, Steph McKee, who is a personal trainer and nutritionalist based in Waiheke Island off the coast of Auckland, New Zealand, she produced a 3-part series on hormones, which is fantastic. And I was lucky enough to be able to include the first in the series. And the reason I focused on the first is because Steph talks about there being a pyramid of hormones. And at the bottom of the pyramid is cortisol. You'll have to excuse me if I refer to some notes because it's quite complicated, but cortisol and insulin are the two hormones that she covers in the video that is included in the course. And they are very important because if you get those into balance, often the other hormones that may also be out of balance come right, be that your sex hormones and other hormones in your body. So a little bit about each one. So cortisol, I think we're sort of familiar with cortisol as being relating to stress, but the part of the brain that regulates cortisol is the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland, and the actual cortisol is released from within the body by the adrenal glands. And cortisol is basically released when we're under stress or when we perceive that we're under stress, and also it helps with low blood sugar. So the trouble with elevated levels of cortisol in your body is because it's an emergency kind of hormone, it suppresses our immune system so we can become unwell if we have sustained elevated levels of cortisol. It also decreases bone density and it eats away at the muscles as well. So it's not something that you want to have a lot of. And what can happen if you have a lot of cortisol in your system is you can develop something called cortisol resistance. And that signs of cortisol resistance are adrenal fatigue, belly fat, lowered immunity, and increased inflammation in the body. So what causes increased cortisol? Obviously, a stressful lifestyle, a lack of sleep. Here's an interesting one, shallow mouth breathing. So that's where our breathing exercises are really beneficial. Blood sugar fluctuations, so that's linked to your diet. Overtraining and also extreme dieting. So it can also be when you're depriving your body and your body becomes under stress because it is deprived of nutrients. Also mindset, self-talk, negative self-talk, and never saying no to anything and getting overburdened because of that. Now, insulin and cortisol work together in a cycle. So once you get elevated cortisol, you can start having imbalances in your insulin as well. Insulin is released in the body via the pancreas. It is released when we eat protein and carbs, but not fat. It results in spikes in high blood sugar, which is why cortisol gets involved. Again, it can lead to body fat sticking around. So ways that we can deal with both elevated cortisol and insulin. Can you see the top of my dog's head? He's always sitting on my lap. Ways that we can work with that is obviously trying to get our sleep right. So there's good sleep practices, and we cover that in the course. Breathing exercises to help you relax and encourage the parasympathetic nervous system to help us out. Understanding your personal nutritional requirements, and you can actually, through Steph McKee, you can do some testing, some genetic testing that will look at the ways that you burn carbohydrates and suggest the ideal diet for you, and restorative exercise rather than overtraining. So walking in nature is a wonderful thing to do. laughing, so watching funny movies, spending time with family. We all know sort of the exercises that help relax us, and we cover quite a lot of those in the first course, Breath and Body. But that's just a very quick run through of the video, which is about 40 minutes. It's covered in our course. You can find out more about the course at the website insideknowledge.blog, and you can find all the details there. Thanks for listening.